Okay. My name's Reverend Carol Saunders. I am a double ordained minister, Unity and Interfaith. And I have a podcast ministry and I have a retreat ministry. And I'm here today to talk about the Whole Planet Spirituality Forum and Retreat at Unity Village, October 29th through November 1st. More about my background. I founded and led a church for like 10 or 12 years. And so I did that for a while. And now I have a podcast where I talk to people around the world about all that. So that's my brief introduction. I live in Wisconsin, which is a beautiful, unknown to most people state.
Thank you for that.
Sarina? All right. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Sarina Ferb, vegan educator, speaker, community organizer. And some people might know me. I go by Born Vegan online on my YouTube channel and my website and Instagram. And I've been on some of these before talking about some of the other work I've done. But I'm here today to talk about the event I'm organizing called Vibrant Vegan Fest, which is my passion right now is really community building and making veganism and vegan events fun, exciting, joyful, and really showing people what the world could look like, building the alternatives that we'd all like to see. So I'll be talking more about that event.
Are we going to be prompted, or should we just keep talking?
Please go ahead. So, your talk is a Vibrant Vegan Festival and Whole Planet Spirituality Forum. Do you need slides? Have you got everything ready?
I don't have slides.
Right,
I'm just
carry on. Go ahead.
I don't either. Do you want to go first, Carol, and talk for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Sarina has a fabulous event, and my event is also fabulous. They're two very distinct events, and they're both about building the new planetary consciousness. And I think they're both vital, but there are distinctions. So I'll let Sarina talk about hers. When the past conversation was just talking about love, and my retreat this year, we're in our 6th year, and the theme is above all, love all. And I too agree that what we do as activists and advocates and just regular old people, if we do it from a consciousness and an embodiment of love for all, and all means animals, but it also means all those awful humans that we're annoyed by. So if we learn how to really practice universal love, I believe we'll be much more effective in being heard, being taken seriously, and finding that bridge where we can talk to people and hear and come back to a place where we can co-create a world that works for all beings on the planet. So my retreat has a very spiritual focus. And I also have speakers. So this year, my featured speaker is Cameron Waters of Christspiracy. And Silas will be there to talk about Planet B. I believe he'll be at Sarina's event as well. I also have Tammy Hay, who's going to be talking about building a world of love. And I'm looking for her. Yeah, building a world of love through spirals of sacred relationships. Renee King Sonnen will be there to tell the Rowdy Girl story. And I also have some, our Mighty May will be talking about loving your four-legged friends and all earthlings. And we also have a lot of spiritual practices that we're going to be learning. Heart math, Ho'oponopono, sound bath, things like that to really open up our hearts. And because I think it's so important. I mean, honestly, I think some of us vegans think that we're just all that we're morally superior and we're better and all of that. And I know others don't think that, but they still kind of act that a little bit. So this is really about learning to do the shadow work, learning to do the self-inquiry, and what are my blocks to being fully love on the planet. I think it's important that we learn how to love the hunter, love the slaughterhouse worker, love the big ag person. Not that we condone what they're doing, but that we open our hearts that wide. That's our challenge. Now, their challenge is to open it up to the animals, but we're challenged as well. And we want them to open their hearts. So I think it's very important that we learn how to open our hearts. So we have a lot of spiritual practices, like I said. We have morning body work. And spiritual practices throughout the 3.5 days, including in the end, we kind of end with a self-reflective labyrinth walk. Like Sarina, I too am interested in building community, and our communities intersect. I don't think you have to pick one or the other. You can come to both. They both have a different kind of orientation. But we do that deeper spiritual work that I think most of us are really kind of ready to embrace, for those who are. Just really briefly, before I turn it over to Sarina, I don't know if anybody's knows about David Hawkins' scale of consciousness. It's a really interesting scale of human energies. Okay, and so it goes. The lowest energy is shame, and then there's guilt, and there's fear, and there's grief, and some of those lower energies, and then you cross a threshold into courage, and that's when you start living a little bit more authentically. Ultimately, you can rise to a place of love and peace, but it's a climb. It's not something where you automatically get to. I believe that as long as we are, even when we face the tragic circumstances of animals, I don't think we're helping them a lot by being fearful for the future, guilty about what we've done in the past, or grieving constantly their plight. Those are normal human reactions, but if we can rise above that and keep moving up to other levels of consciousness, I think we help them, because we end up raising the roof on consciousness itself. And that just gives so much more room for other people to grow. So that's kind of what my retreat is about. We are in our 6th year. We have 3 amazing plant-based lunches, 3 amazing plant-based dinners, all curated and prepared by local chefs. And Unity Village is in the Kansas City area. I think Sarina's event is also in the Kansas City area. Isn't it great that we're creating this energy in the center of the state? It's a great vibration. One more thing I just want to say is I like having my event at Unity, because the Unity founders, the co-founders, back in the early 1900s, practiced ethical vegetarianism. And they did amazing things, like they bound their Bibles in a leather alternative. They started a new food company with meat alternatives in 1905. They started the first vegetarian restaurant in Kansas City. So they had a consciousness for this. And I'm wanting to bring that consciousness back to Unity, but also to everyone. So that's kind of what my retreat is about. Sarina, do you want to talk about yours?
Sure. Thank you. And I've been before, and your retreats are absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I think, and I loved everything you said about love and having compassion for those that we may still disagree with. And that energy is definitely at mine as well. I would say Vibrant Vegan Fest is, so personally, I've been to a bunch of different festivals, retreats, conferences, animal rights events, music festivals, all kinds of different things. And for me, Vibrant Vegan Fest is really my dream festival that I want to attend. I don't get to attend that much of it because I'm so busy. But it's really if you think a mix between an all ages, family friendly summer camp and a little bit of a wellness retreat. It has a little bit of that spirituality element, but that is not the main focus, with a vegan health and wellness conference with a music festival. You put all of those in one somehow, and you get Vibrant Vegan Fest. So it's 5 days, 4 nights. And similarly in Kansas City area, it's in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, 45 minutes from Kansas City, on a 300-acre camp and retreat center. And everybody stays on site, either tent camping, cabins, RV hookups, or we do have some private rooms on site. And similarly, we serve 3 buffet-style meals as part of the event each day. But we don't do catering, and it's very, very simple, summer camp style burrito bowls, build your own, that our team of volunteers make. We have a work trade program for people to attend and then help kind of do shifts in the kitchen. So, and then it's like during the day, we have speakers, we have workshops, we have fitness classes, boot camp, yoga. You can go canoe and kayak on the lake, listen to speakers, and then every day after dinner, all of the education stops, and we have a whole lineup of musicians and bands and ecstatic dance and drum circles and bonfires every night. So that's where the music festival element comes in. So there's lots and lots of dancing, and I will say almost all of our musicians are also vegan. Our headliners are all vegan. We actually have a vegan musician from the UK coming in, Vegan Queen V, who sings Earth liberation, animal liberation, animal rights songs. And so she'll be doing an acoustic performance, a bonfire jam, and an animal rights choir like sing-along workshop during the daytime too. So she'll be performing. And then if anybody knows who Tubby Love is, he's our main headliner musician. Most people probably don't even realize he's vegan. He doesn't talk about it, and it's not the theme of his music, but he has very like high vibe, conscious, kind of hippie, like peace and love and unity, a mix of like folk and reggae kind of vibes. And he'll be our headliner musician, and he's also an EDM DJ, and we'll be doing like a late night EDM DJ dance set. So we have all of that, and it's very, I think, like education. My goal is to like make the education fun. So we have speakers and keynotes that talk about health, ethics, sustainability. We have some Sailesh is coming and speaking. Renee King Sonnen will also be at ours. And then we also have like Alan Goldhammer from True North Health Clinic bringing the health message. And we have some yoga teachers and fitness folks doing like boot camp and things like that. But the goal for me is like making it fun. So yes, get the education. Yes, come and eat the delicious food. Whether like there's something for everyone, whether you are an activist and have been vegan 30 years and you are just looking to come and connect and have that community, or whether you are just starting this and you've never been to a vegan event before. So this is great for like bringing friends or family or partners that aren't vegan who maybe don't really have an interest in the education, but it's going to be an education for them just to come and eat delicious food and, be around these people. And community this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll pass it back to you, Carol, but community is really, really important to me. And I know that just because you get a bunch of vegans in one place, like that doesn't always, sometimes there's interesting dynamics where people will question, can I come to this alone? What if I don't have any friends with me? What if is it okay to come alone? And we very, very intentionally are building an environment that welcomes everyone and makes it fun and makes it so you will leave with new friends from like our connection games, our silent disco, our intentional kind of get to know you stuff. And then especially if you're staying in one of our dorms, it's very summer camp style. You'll be sharing a room with a bunch of people that you might not know at first, and you will probably get to know very well in just a few days. So yeah, that's kind of the main Vibrant Vegan Fest.
I'll just add a little bit. I don't know if we can do a Q&A, but because I'm going to notice some things that you mentioned that I did not. Ours does have an on-site hotel. We don't do camping, but you can camp if you want to. There are some people who have RV hookups nearby, but ours is more, on-site hotel. It's right there. You can walk there. And we also invite everyone. I think it's really important, don't you, Sarina, to have the non-vegans come. And we've been about 20%, what I call, pre-vegans or curious omnivores. And what I really like about this is they get the opportunity to be around vegans that are really kind and nice and loving and not judgmental, not trying to convert them and all that kind of stuff, because I think we have such a reputation among the non-vegan world that, we're always going to be, at their throat and telling them they need to stop doing what they're doing. And I think that gentle approach, at least what I've noticed, is it does really cause people to shift and say, you know what, I'm willing to try this. These are really nice people, great food, and I'm willing to try. But sometimes they start off a little bit, don't come towards me, let me just do my thing. But I think it's really important that we create loving environments for vegans to be with non-vegans and to show them how loving we are.
Absolutely. What I tell people, because I actually had a non-vegan friend who was like, is it okay if I go? Will I fit in? And the way I explained it is my goal is to kind of flip the world upside down, like normalize non-veganism or normalize veganism, the alternative, for 5 days, right? So I am trying to make it where, vegans don't have to hear those butt bacon jokes, and where they're going to feel safe to share, or maybe complain or rant, or, it is kind of that safe space for vegans. And at the same time, we make it clear and absolutely welcome everyone, but it's kind of the reverse. It's like, right, most of the time we have to be vegan, walking in a non-vegan world, dealing with people, and, we still have friends and family and loving connections, but maybe we are uncomfortable sometimes, or maybe, we have to have difficult conversations. And it is true that if, again, everybody's welcome. We make that very clear. And I think everybody is very loving. But yeah, if you aren't vegan and you are going to our event, you may learn things or hear things that might make you a little uncomfortable, or, people may very kindly ask you questions, or you may end up in conversations, because we are kind of turning the tables and normalizing a different reality.
I also want to add that my event has fun to it too, although I can see that your event's focused on fun. That's kind of a fun focus. We do have evening events where we have a lot of fun. Sometimes we have a talent show. Halloween, my event's over Halloween, so we'll have a costume Halloween party and Halloween-centered foods and stuff like that. It'll be a lot of fun. I guess if there's any distinction, I would think yours is focused on music and fun and flipping that world, and mine has more of an inner work spiritual focus, and they're both very, very important.
Absolutely.
Are we going to do Q&As? I don't know what's next. We can keep talking.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I think the sensations and the fun and the environment and connecting on a divine level is so incredibly important. So, that's the way to bring people in. I mean, even for non-normalizing like veganism, because veganism should be normal, right? Like, as in, like, intuitively, it should be normal. But how has the world actually made it so it's normalized the opposite? And it's almost like, because all the sensations and the fun, like you're talking about, and the environment tends to pull that to become the normal. And with the Planet B and the polycrisis, normalizing veganism is the whole point. So this is the way in which it's being done, the method in which you both are speaking about normalizing veganism. And also speaking to those that are not vegan, it is really important. We need to connect with everybody. And that's the divinity. I think we need to practice it, really, don't we?
Normalizing love.
Normalizing love, yeah.
Yes.
Because we always do have some... Sorry, what's that, Sarina?
Yeah, I was just going to say, something I've noticed, kind of what you were speaking to a little bit at the beginning, Carol, but like, I've been in so many activist spaces, which I love and respect and have done a lot of activism myself, but it's really, really easy for people, especially in the activist spaces, to become really depressed and angry. And then that's kind of, if other people, particularly non-vegans, are interacting with them, it could be really easy to be like, and vegans are just angry and depressed, and like, I don't want to be part of that. or for, that to kind of become, cycles of burnout. Like I've seen so many activists that go really hard for, 1, 2, 3 years and then kind of drop off and disappear and aren't involved and don't want to do anything anymore. And I think bringing that, for me, fun, is good for both. It shows people like you can join a beautiful, happy, joyful movement where we're actually embodying the future that we want, right? Like if we're creating a vegan world, we don't want an angry, depressed world of a bunch of people that are just burnt out. I believe that veganism, it is love, it is beautiful, it will be a happier, better world. But I think we have to, show that too. And so having fun shows that. And it also shows vegans and is a place for us to realize that we don't have to burn ourselves out, that it's okay for us to have fun and joy, and that this can be a huge
it's essential
of change. Yeah, not just like it is essential. It's gonna
it's essential.
Make us able to keep going.
Yeah, so I think there's 26 parts of the polycrisis, and I think one of them was to make sure everyone gets vegan food for free. Gourmet, very healthy. I think that Together Around Food just happened a few weeks ago, which was incredibly successful. And that again is showing people without speaking, again, eating food, enjoying it together. And people are eating and saying, this is fine, this is wonderful. Like, it's not so different and it's quite healthy. We have Rebecca with her hand up. Rebecca, please come on. She has a question or she has a comment.
Thank you. I have both. I want to thank you so much for taking the time and energy it takes to do conferences. I really appreciate that. I see that you are vitally engaged in the poly solution because that's what it takes. And I am looking at the book that Dr. Rao recently wrote about a guide to Planet B. And it says that Planet B is designed for humans as they are, not as someone wishes they were. It makes regenerative choices easy and attractive, not mandatory. And so I think getting practice at maybe one of your conferences is a good way to do that. It also says veganism is essential to Planet B, but Planet B is much more. It's a complete framework covering economics, governance, culture, and more. And so if you would like to talk about how those fit in with living in a vegan world, living in a Planet B, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Well, for me, I know this is kind of cliche, but we don't change the world without changing ourselves. We don't just want everybody out there to change. For me, we have to do the inner work to look at who we are being in the world and transform that so that who we can be in the world are loving, compassionate, universally compassionate people. So that's really kind of what we focus on at my retreat. That I do want to say that I think it is not only possible but essential that we don't turn away from the way the world is now. Not like, okay, we're going to ignore it now. Just go, let's go party. Not at all. We have to be very, very aware. In this hand, we hold reality. We know what's real. But in this hand, we hold a higher consciousness. And we can, with those two, universal love and world and peace, inner peace, and self-love is really important before you can actually be peace and loving in the outer world. So you don't want to ignore what's going on, but we definitely need to raise our consciousness so that we can become those people walking around on this planet today. For me, it's a lot of inner work. Like why do I feel angry right now? And what can I do to shift that to, beholding the beauty in this other person, even though they do evil things.
I think that's beautiful. And, I would say, and I totally agree. I'm 100% with you, Carol, on we have to be that change and do that inner work. In terms of Vibrant Vegan Fest, I would say we focus a little bit more on the outer work, the other side. So we have lots of speakers that, are covering everything from we try to stay, I'll say, a little bit more sort of solution focused because the audience is largely people that are already vegan or interested. We don't have a ton of talks we don't have any talks that are going to be, graphic footage. Here's what the reality of the dairy industry is, things like that. Because we are largely aimed at, vegans who mostly know that, but we don't hide from it, right? We're also not like, you can't talk about that and it all has to be peace and light, but we really do try to focus on the solutions. And so we have topics and speakers on everything from optimizing our own health to like veganic gardening and showing how veganic farming is the future of our food system. And that's a piece that I think personally is vitally important and that gets missed so much. When we're talking about regenerative solutions and things, we see vegans talking about wanting like a vegan food system. And then we see folks in the environmental community talking about, the importance of not using pesticides and boycotting Monsanto and kind of all of these things. And we forget that we have a solution that is the best of both worlds. And that's veganic farming that truly is, I think, the most sustainable and ethical future of our food system. And so we really focus on having speakers and workshops and topics that are, solution based and showing people not only the reality of someone who's already doing that. We have some veganic farmers who will be speaking, but then also teaching people like how to start a food forest in your backyard, how to start growing your own things, how to start growing sprouts, how to get involved in activism, we'll have activism panels, we'll have, I don't know if Paige Parsons wrote, she's coming and will be leading like an eco art activation, kind of combining art and recycling and making it like a literal art project, but from a, transformative, eco-friendly angle. So yeah, to kind of answer the question, like 100%, like, I think what you said, Carol, is beautiful. And we do a little of that too, but we're a little bit more on that outward. Yes. The outward activism, like
they're
let's
both
actually 100% take action. Yeah. And, people I think will walk away feeling like they have new tools and ideas for how to hopefully both do the internal work, but also go out and plant those seeds of change and implement this in the rest of their lives too.
So come to both.
Yes. And they're like
we're not competing.
A month and a half apart in Kansas City. You could just come hang out in Kansas City that whole time.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on what Reverend Carol said. What I'm finding is that, yes, it's true that you need to do inner work to raise your consciousness, but the outer system that you're embedded in actually also determines your consciousness. So it determines whether you are elevated or not because of the kind of work you need to do, what kind of system that you're stuck in, and what I'm finding is that, when we did the Together Around Food, people told me that they felt lighter by coming and eating that. And they felt that the community was supporting them, right? They felt like they belonged. They felt safe and secure. And that fundamentally elevates their consciousness when you do that. So this is why I say that the systems work is also very important to go along with the inner work that we need to do.
Yeah, that's very important, isn't it? Because they tie in together, and you have that there, the collab, the inner and the outer, right there. So that's really fun. Very great combination. And we actually have lots of initiatives that do just that, and with the Guide to Planet B, it's all kind of put together to get that whole system, internal and external. We have two other hands raised. Shall we bring them on? Hello there, Shankar. What's your question?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Reverend Saunders, and also Sarina. Appreciate especially the community initiatives is amazing, because I can remind or recollect the days when I went vegan in 2012. It definitely, the community togetherness did help. some sort of coming together, or and then one of the organization I'm really thankful is the Vet Society of DC. I'm from the DC area, so they are like you can actually pick your interest. Like there is several groups, like a youth groups, or it's like a dating, or even like a African American or mothers, vegan mothers want to do a group activity for kids, or camping, hiking, everything. I'll just post it in the chat. That also includes going to the restaurant. So you're dealing with the variety of people here. Like they're all understood the concept, but they don't know how to keep themselves engaged, or how they don't know to come together. And let me post it. And you can see their meetup is very popular, and they send out the events well in advance. Definitely something people are gathering for something, and then when they gather, they talk about something, or they all they launch some, even start their own companies. That much inspiration they take, and then some of them are like doctors' lectures. You can enrich on. There are spiritual gathering. You can go. And very helpful. It's hard to keep up with. That's a good thing. So, and my brother is actually in the Kansas area, so I'm definitely planning. I'll definitely try to see Sarina to attend. Okay, thank you. That's all I want to add.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. I just want to add one thing, because you said you're from Washington, D.C. It sounds like you're coming to Kansas City, which is great. But we do have a virtual option, too, for my retreat. So people who can't make it to Kansas City, we do have a virtual option.
Where can you share that? Can you share the link somewhere? Can you put it in the chat, maybe? Reverend Karen Saunders, would you be able to put the link for your virtual conference available? Yeah, thank you. Danny, would you like to come on with your question?
Hi. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Reverend Saunders, I've been listening to you for a while. I've seen you before here. I'm curious because I'm just engaging in shadow work. I have a addiction to thinking, apparently, and that often gets in the way, lots of stuff going on, but I do hear voices from parts, and I guess I'm being asked to kind of expand and hold them and love them and accommodate them and, maybe shape them differently. I'm not quite sure how to put myself back together again, because I had this great fragmentation, spiritual breakthrough in 2014 to the beginning of 2015. It was kind of like a crisis. It was a pure core centralization, acceptance, and then I took a beating from my husband, emotionally or whatever, and I started to doubt myself and everything, and so it's kind of a jumbled mess. Anyway, I was wondering how I have started to engage in shadow work. I'm wondering how you do it, and what happens at these at the virtual weekend. How does it work?
So just to let you know, the virtual weekend is, we have a camera that is on the speakers and on their slides and all of that, and virtual people can participate in the question and answer with their speakers. If we go into any kind of a deep sharing event with the in-person people, the virtual people will go into their own Zoom room and discuss the questions and create their own community that way. So that's how the virtual works. We do really think it's best if you can attend virtually, but we will also have the playbacks available for 2 or 3 weeks. Now, regard to shadow work, I'm not going to be doing therapy. I'm not a therapist, so we do have some qualified therapists there. But we're going to do more. It'd be more like along the lines of look at what it is that you are reacting to. What is it that causes you to be angry, and who are you angry at? And then, and how are you like that? So it's very easy to say, well, I'm not at all like that big ag executive. He's this, he's that, he's greedy, he's this. I'm not at all like that. If we find those attributes within ourselves, it helps us then to just kind of reclaim that that aspect of ourselves, and we become a little more whole and a little gentler with ourselves and gentler with other people. So we would look more at, traits and things like that that cause us to be annoyed, and find that, we're kind of the same around different things. And once you realize that we're all connected, we're all one, we're none of us are, so morally superior that we are, perfect embodiment of love. And if we are, we won't be judging, right? So we want to get to that place where the embodiment of love and not judging. And so that's kind of how we would handle it. It's not a therapeutic environment. So, I don't have that qualification. My qualification is spiritual and faith-based. You don't have to have a faith. You can be an atheist. We've got atheists. That's fine. Everyone's welcome. That's where. So I would work more from a spiritual standpoint. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's interesting, because I'm wondering if you do one-on-ones, or do you just do the retreats, or do you have a practice with people one-on-one?
Oh, I do coach people one-on-one. I do.
Okay.
I do that as well. It's not my primary thing that I do, but whenever people ask, I pretty much make it work.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
All right.
Dakota, would you like to come on and ask your question? Hey there. We'll just unmute you. That's right.
Thank you. I was trying to unmute and I couldn't get it done. Hi, everybody. It's great to see you. I'm so happy to hear about everything today. And I just wanted to say the whole together around food and the retreats and the festivals get me so excited and happy, because it's like this feeling of community and belonging. And I really do think, like Dr. Rao was saying, and something about coming together around food, it's like your walls just go down. It's like hard. I mean, not that there haven't ever been arguments over dinner at, people's homes or something, but it's like, and the whole, like, the food is free thing. I love that, because you can have all different, it crosses all barriers, like class and, socioeconomic backgrounds, professional lives, everything's different. To me, it almost reminds me of a recovery room, because everybody's just Jill or Bob or Joe, it's not like your titles, it's just your name, and, I don't know, it's just wonderful. You can just come eat and you feel like you belong. Jane Velez Mitchell cracked me up when she said something one time about when Dr. Rao invited her to a free food event, and at first she said she felt almost offended, like, I can pay for my own food, like she just felt some kind of way about it. And then she thought, oh, it's just going to be full of a bunch of homeless people, stinky, dirty, homeless people or something, she's so funny. And anyway, it's like it was a whole mix of people, and she felt completely comfortable. And then what I love about the Together Around Food too is that it's free, healthy food for everyone, whether you make $100,000 a year or you make 10,000 or you're unemployed. It's free for everybody, so it just breaks these barriers down. And then I'm reminded too, like, sometimes someone in one of my groups had said, the opposite of addiction is connection. She was like, it's connection. Mm-hmm. And usually what drives some of us that are in the rooms of recovery is because of feeling isolated and, different problems. But when you feel connected to people, you just feel that belonging. You feel like you're all one big family in whatever differences. And anyway, and I'll just close with, I love that the mealtime too, because you might just have an interaction with somebody or a conversation or just a couple words, and you think, I might want to talk to them again later. And so, like, that whole community thing, I don't know, I think I'm rambling right now, but I just want to say thank you. I look forward to both your events.
When you've been to the events, right?
Huh?
I know you've been to my event. Have you been to Sarina's event?
I haven't gotten to go to Sarina's yet, but I'm going to try to see if I can attend at least part on the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you think about attending the event that I organize?
Well, it's wonderful. It's amazing. Because it's a space for everybody to feel welcome and comfortable. And well, there might be some things that we feel uncomfortable about, but we talk through it, and nobody's judging or attacking each other and stuff like that, So, yeah, I love it. I mean, every non-vegan I've met that's been there has felt very welcome and comfortable, and it's helping me to calm down my trying to change everything outside of me and work within. That I need a lot of work within. All right, love you guys.
You've got company.
It's a forever game, isn't it? It's a forever game. And then you get into the subtleties, and the subtleties don't end. So we've got three more hands. So Toby, you've got some questions from the Q&A?
Hello, this is just a question from me, if that's all right. Yeah, as I've been talking to people who are into spirituality and seeing people online in other groups, I see a lot that people think, well, they don't think of veganism really that's like too much, and they think everything's all well and good, and the higher power will sort everything out, and everything's just meant to be. Don't worry about it. Like, come off it, kind of thing. And so that's there's not really any hands-on things. As long as you put your energy into something and let it out there, then things will start to do better. And then you see other spiritual groups where they have vegetarianism. The vegetarian, and there's a lot of them about as well, but there's not many that really go like full vegan, which I think is like the fully encompassing spirituality in my view. And I think then you go full throttle, like you're doing the inner work and you're doing the full outer work, and you make that symbiotic system really come alive, and that's absolutely powerful. So yeah, and I love the work. It sounds like you're doing an amazing job, and I'm here in Spain. If you do anything around here, it would be great to be a part of it. But I'm ever in America.
Actually, have so Toby, sorry, I just have a question based on something you've triggered. Can I ask it, or would you like to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, yeah. But with both of your the work that you're doing and the events that you're doing, what is are you like capturing the outcome? Like, are you measuring it? What kind of impact is it that you're capturing? And is it something that you can share with us so that we can also see how we can implement it with the non-vegan communities as well?
That's a great question. Last year was my first year organizing, and we did have like a big survey we had everyone fill out, and that's right now the best feedback we have. And I think the biggest takeaways were, we had just kind of testimonials from people that said things. I remember one in particular, someone said that she was going to be moving states after our event because she realized how important having vegan friends and community was, and that she was completely alone, and realized that she wanted to move to a better city and start hosting like vegan events as a result of our event. So like that was a comment we got. We had comments from other activists that, had never been to something like this, and were like, I didn't know I needed this as an activist. I didn't know how rejuvenating, how much fun, how much joy this could bring to my life. And those people have gone on to keep doing and do more activism. So I don't have any hard, numbers or anything like that, but just the stories that people put in our survey form, and that I've continued to kind of see the ripple effects from.
Okay. Are you getting people come back, and are you getting increasing in numbers in terms of the people that want to come? Like, because I guess word of mouth and like,
yeah,
I don't know how much marketing you're doing, but is it more word of mouth over the marketing?
So we had about 150 people total last year, and those were our final numbers last year, and we're at like 125 right now. And a lot came in last minute last year. So I'm expecting closer to 200, 250 is our max capacity for this year. And I put it in the chat, but we have a fantastic like recap video that a vegan videographer made for us that's really, really beautiful, that we have been using for marketing and advertising. So it's some word of mouth. We do have a lot of returning people, and lots of new people and people. Actually, I received a really, really beautiful message just the other day from someone in Alaska and someone in New Zealand saying that where they're located, they have absolutely no vegan friends or community. And they're thinking about coming all the way to this in Kansas from Alaska and New Zealand because they saw our video, and want to be a part of this and meet, vegan friends. And one thing I just realized that I'll add to this is ours is also family friendly, intergenerational, and we provide childcare on site 9 hours a day. So if families want to come, your kids will basically be attending their own vegan summer camp and then can join the evening activities, dancing and hanging out. So
it's kind of similar to what we have is vegan camp out here, is it? Yeah.
In the UK, yes. I've wanted to, that's been on my list. I have not made it over there.
When you come, do let us know. I mean, I love it. So I just don't get time to go, but let us know. That'd be amazing. And yeah, I'd love to come to have the time and luxury to visit the one that you're doing. But yeah, I think the more and more that we're doing this, sorry, Reverend Saunders,
I was just going to say to add on. We also have feedback forms, but I think what I'm seeing is our core group, the ones who keep returning. This is my 6th year. It's getting bigger. So I think that's a measurement. I think the number of people who leave, who came not vegan and say I'm going to give it a try, or I'm going to, I think that's a measurement. In addition to the kind of the non. More intangibles, what have you learned? Well, this is what I've learned about myself through the surveys. But for me, my core group keeps growing. The other thing is I hold Zoom gatherings with anybody who wants to show up every 6 weeks after the retreat. So we stay together and we connect and kind of work on our stuff. I also offer a spiritual class for anybody who has gone through the retreat, who wants to do the deeper work and continue on that. And we do that weekly. So, yeah.
And then like generally, how long do they keep coming back, or eventually they kind of establish and I guess they don't need to come back?
No, people come back.
They come back, say hello.
They come back because the community is so fun, and the experience is so fun. And every year we have a different theme, and every year it's a different experience, very different. So it is not the same, and I'm sure the same thing for Sarina. It's not the same from year to year. So it has there's usually a different theme with a different focus, and different speakers, and just different people. So it's a different experience. Yeah.
I will, just for reference, I've been going to Vegan Summerfest in Pennsylvania 30 years, almost every year of my life, and I keep going. So when you really find a community and a tribe, that, I think one of our slogans is like, where vegans come to feel at home. When you find your home, and that sounds like exactly what you've built, Carol, people are going to keep coming back to see their people and their family.
Yeah, that's incredibly important to be able to thrive, for each individual to thrive. I mean, I felt like that. I say joining Climate Healers, it you just felt like you could thrive because you're not battling your environment all the time, and you feel comfortable. Hello, Donna. I was going to bring you up just in a minute. What's your question?
Okay. First of all, just a housekeeping thing. If you've had no questions, I look for the question thing, and there is none. So you might open up your app, make it so that people can.
Oh, it's called Speaker Q&A. It's called Speaker Q&A.
It's not on my. There's no. I don't have it on mine. So anyway.
No. It's a person that's there. Their name is Speaker Q&A. You just address them. You can address them.
Yeah, the chat is closed, and yeah. So anyway, might check that out. But I'm here because when I heard that the theme for Carol's retreat this year is understanding and loving everybody. I'm going to start crying here because I'm sorry, I'm sorry, be one of those people that here, I got a book here. My mother wrote a book, How to Think If You Want to Change the World, Spiritual Practices for Social Activism. It has lots of things in here about, overcoming failure, being invincible to failure. But the one that really hits me the most is the one on dealing with your enemy. And realizing, Carol, you mentioned about we're all the same. We've all done things that the enemy has done. We are no different, and learning to love them. And I'm so glad that that's going to be the theme. I'm very excited. I'm one of the regulars. I missed the first one, and I've been to every one since then. And when by the way, she has in there a chapter with step by step how to realize that we are the same, and loving that other person, the one your boss or whoever is pissing you off. And it was really difficult for me to follow that. I did it with some people who were just like, making my life miserable. And it was really, really difficult to follow those steps and get to that point. And wow, when I was able to do that, all the anger and anxiety that I had been feeling about, when I hear these terrible things that people are doing, it went away. It did not lessen my wanting to stop it, but I was able to stop it without that anger and hurt. And so it's a power. I'm so excited to come and immerse myself into a couple days, Carol, with deepening my ability to love those who we think are harming, because we've all harmed. So anyway, I'm just really, really excited to partake of that. And so thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you for sharing. It's really insightful, and get an idea of Reverend Saunders' space, virtual space or even in-person space. We have one more question from Dipti Sharan. Dipti Sharan, would you like to come on? What's your question?
Hi. I want to first of all thank you both, the organizers, of course, and then Carol and Sarina for organizing these such events. I will very briefly introduce myself. I been vegan since 2010-11, and my 3 kids, 2 in high school, 1 in elementary, they're all vegan, and they're somewhere around the home. But my little one, 8-year-old one, he met Dr. Shailesh Rao in Houston in a conference a month ago, and he suddenly saw him when we logged in, and he's like, "Is that Shailesh Rao? Is that Shailesh Rao?" It was I live in San Antonio, and we're kind of the only vegans I know here. I only know myself here, so it's been kind of lonely the last 4 years. But Rebecca and Shankar and everyone is trying to connect me to people that they know in the area.
I know somebody in San Antonio.
You do? I do. Okay.
I'll give you my email. I'll give my email address. Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. I've been trying to connect to anybody and everyone thank you so much. And just to continue with the question that somebody asked, I think Krishna, you asked, like how do you get the survey? And then using something that Dr. Rowley said a few sessions ago, that we don't have animal rights or something on that line. But if enough people, like individual rights are being honored, but if we had enough people who said, no, I don't think it's right that for example, I'll take my personal example that I request for vegan food on the airplane, and then 9 out of 10 times I do not get vegan food. Or if I get, it's boiled spinach, which is neither satisfying nor fulfilling, even though, I eat the most satisfying and fulfilling meals for the last 15 years. So what is that thing where we can and it's because you both are going to be inviting so many people in the community who are already vegan. So would this be a good forum where, piggybacking on what Dr. Raleigh was saying, if we had enough people in the community who said, we need vegan alternatives, we need vegan choices, then our voice would be heard. And what is that? I wanted to ask her at that time, but we were running out of time. But what is that one thing that we can do collectively, and especially because this has so much effort has been put together to put this 2-day conference? What is that one thing that we can all do together to make that happen, to utilize this collectively? 55 of us are here for 2 days, hopefully more tomorrow. Am I making sense? And I see both of you nodding heads. But Krishna, do you?
What do I think? How can we actually implement that? I think we've got the poly solution. So there's, you've got different factors of the whole system, and there's lots of work happening, and we need to take strands and what they call in project management, they'll call them work streams, and there's lots of different work streams of the entire project. And so everyone's taking their lead on this bit and this bit and this bit, which is how it works, isn't it? And I think when we know that we've got all the parts of the poly solutions covered, and then this is how we can bring the change around. I'd like to know about what Sarina's doing or what Reverend Saunders is doing. I mean, this is great. So I know if I come across, if I'm in that area, if I know somebody, I can refer them to what they are doing. I mean, it's really important to know who's doing what in our community. And then we can scale it like that. So this is a way that we can exchange, but also to understand different points of views, because there's so many nuances. And there's so many different ways of being effective, and we kind of be like, oh, really? That's great. Like, I didn't think about it like this. So I think from my point of view, having everyone share what the work and impacts they're making, and also the approach. The approach is really important, because I know when I start, personally, I speak for myself. When I started, I had a very violent, aggressive approach, and that's not going to work. So, and I'm coming from a neuroscience background, and I didn't even take consideration of that. So it's really important to know, and hopefully we can communicate. I mean, now I know that you're in that area and this is how you're feeling. I remember being like that too. So to be part of a community, it's like, okay, now I know somebody in the community. Yeah.
Community is absolutely important. If I did not have the community back in Seattle for 5 strong years when I was forming that, because I didn't get any support from my family, anybody. I mean, I and my 2 kids back then, we were just isolated from the entire society. And it was the community that helped me come up, face that challenge, and be strong and stay strong. And then I took up writing as my power, and I used to write, and I used to read what I wrote. And that helped me to stay vegan for that time. And then once my roots were strong enough, even though my heart knew that this was the right thing to do, once the community helped my roots become stronger, then as I moved states and cities, I was able to stay that, which has helped me stay vegan in San Antonio, being the only one. And I'm going to connect to the person, you'll connect me to Carol. But yeah, let's utilize these 2 things. Piggybacking on what Dr. Raleigh was saying, if we can somehow build a momentum where all of us have a petition to veganize every university, every school. Because so back in Seattle, in the Edmond School District, when my son, eldest one, was a kindergartner, he's a rising senior at High right now. When he was a kindergartner, I implemented the Meatless Mondays at my school district. She said, let's start with your school alone. And all they did was switch meat burgers with vegan burgers. That's all they did that day. I went back to follow up if they would be willing to redo this in other schools. And she said, no, the sales came down that day. Oh. And I'm like, the same color, the same texture, the same size, Like, and these are little elementary kids. How do they, I don't understand, how can the sales go down? Like,
Dipti, so sorry. We're at the top of the hour. Okay. I'm so sorry.
Oh, right.
We've got the next feature. But I think your point's really important. I think collectively with this petitioning is incredibly important. The universities, the festivals, is so, I mean, this is great. And we just can spread the word. Like, there's a million ideas that comes up with the vibrant vegan festivals, and, you know, taking it to universities and letting people at universities know, even having petitions in your festival so they know about it and what they can do about it if they're happy about it. So how they can take it to their academic institution. There's loads of ideas we can definitely discuss. I just wish you came on early and we could have explored that together. But next time, thank you very much.
The earth is calling soft and clear, not with judgment, not through fear. She whispers through the wind and trees, remember who you're meant to be. We are not divided souls, but living parts of greater wholes. Every heart, every nation holds a piece of worldwide resolution. We have remedies beyond survival, beyond the stories of denial. 1,000 pathways join as one. The healing has already begun. We have the remedy for compassion revolution, peaceful collaboration, a worldwide resolution. Loving guidance lights the way. Hope for humanity begins today. With loving kindness, hand in hand, together we restore the land. True nature lives in every seed, in every generous word and deed. The rivers, forests, skies and seas reflect the peace we choose to breathe. Spiritual embodiment, a living sacred testament, not escaping from this earth, but honoring her endless worth. Sacred restoration, hearing every generation. The birthright to existing in freedom, shared by every life beneath the sun. Beyond our borders, beyond our names, love burns brighter than our blame. From every culture, every shore, we discover what we're living for. We have the remedy for compassion revolution, peaceful cooperation, a worldwide resolution. Loving guidance remember